Well, here we are, already at the end of day -1 of the IAC 2024. Today was the final day of many of the pre-events. We had the Space Generation Congress that ended with a big party, technically this morning. I heard 3:30 in the morning the party ended. We also had the last day of the United Nations IAF, International Astronautical Federation, workshop on space for socio-economic development. And we were both in that event, in that pre-event. So before we talk about IAC tomorrow, let's focus a little bit on what happened at the UN IAF workshop. And I attended yesterday and today and really looked at it from a communications point of view. And what I see, it was one of the table topics yesterday, and you'll talk about some of the other table topics.
Yes.
But one of the table topics was about the essence of communications, is how do we tell the stories of space, and the fact that it is so needed to tell the stories of space. So I'm joined here with my co-presenter for the week. So can you please let us know who you are?
Sure, my name is Ayushee Chaudhary. I am from India. I'm a space science communicator and a space policy enthusiast, and I'm very excited to be here and to be joining you and being your co-presenter for this week.
Excellent. Well, I was talking about the essence, the role of communications, and obviously those of you who follow me online know that I look at things from my own perspective, so it's always good to have another perspective on things. So I already mentioned the importance of communication. The fact in the table discussion that I was in is that we don't do a good job communicating.
Yes.
That people still have the perception of space that was space in the 1960s, in the 1970s.
Yeah,
People wear
yeah.
NASA t-shirts because Neil Armstrong is still the hero.
Yeah.
Yet the industry moved on for 60 years. So we were looking at, okay, what can we do to give a coherent story of space? And there isn't really a coherent story of space.
And very interestingly, just to pick up from that, when we talk about coherency and communication, that is also something that we touched upon on another table that I was moderating, which was on space law and regulation. And the fact that communication is not just important as a storytelling perspective towards awareness and education for general public and students, but also communication within the different stakeholders of the industry. Now, given how the industry is expanding, it's so essential that we communicate, we are able to understand each other's perspectives, approaches. And at our table, what was very interesting that came out was that when we are looking at regulations, there are probably 3 blanket terms we tried to define, that we could be looking at regulation in terms of collaboration, from the lens of collaboration, because going further, as we have a lot of players, but consolidation is something that is likely to happen. Also, collaboration in terms of data sharing is something that's very crucial, and we need to discuss and also look at how are we going to do that going further. Another umbrella term that we discussed was commercialization. Now, the industry is growing, so economics is a crucial part of it apart from exploration. So we definitely have to consider commercial aspect when we are formulating regulations and policy. And thirdly, the capacity building aspect of it, because if we want to have policies that address the issues, that address all the stakeholders, we need to inform the public, the stakeholders appropriately about it. And it's very crucial the communication is done, and that's how we'll have the skilled workforce ready as well. And I think what was very important takeaway for me was that, yes, we have some treaties in place, we have some regulations, but we need a lot more because the industry has changed. It's different. It's not how it was 10 years ago. And we don't want to wait for another 10 years to have new policies and regulations. We don't have to wait for something to happen and then as a response reaction come up with a policy, come up with a regulation. When we have so much analysis and predictions in place, why can't we have something proactive, something that can look at what might happen and create? And that's what I think sustainability is a lot about. And surprisingly, we still have people within the industry who still think that sustainability is not really a concern right now. We don't need to talk about it so much, but I think that's all the more why it's important that we have this year's theme at IAC and the workshop about sustainability.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because the theme of the UNIF workshop was sustainability.
Yes.
And the role of space for sustainable development. The theme for the IAC that's starting tomorrow is responsible space for sustainability. Yet, do you think that people really know what this container term sustainability means?
No, I think that is still something that's lacking. Not a lot of people know. And also, sustainability in itself has so many aspects to it. Climate is one aspect to it, the debris is one aspect to it, there are so many others. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to during this week, to explore all those different branches of sustainability and hopefully bring that to your audience as well.
Well, let's talk about that during the week. Is they picked the theme of sustainability, and this is kind of a very popular theme in space events that we see. Everybody talks about sustainability. It means different things, as you just alluded to different players. So let's focus a little bit on that. So what we're going to do this week is give you a little recap at the end of the day, and let's use the word sustainability every day to see really what we find in the industry, on how they do that. The same for regulation. We talk about regulation and policy and law a lot. So let's focus on a few of these themes in our reporting. So please keep following us. The IAC has not started yet, but we had the UNIEF workshop that kind of broke the theme already. Tomorrow IAC really starts, hashtag IAC2024. Find the program at IAC2024.org and find us at the end of every day, where we will discuss topics about what's happening at the IAC.
And what we observed and
what we observed, two no more than one, so I'm really looking forward to doing this together with you every day this week. So thank you very much, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.